Welcome again to Caption Media. Today's review will be of the recently released movie Hypnotic. Here is the review without any significant spoilers. But first, let's take a look at the box office figures before giving the review. Despite having a $70 million production budget, this movie is only expected to bring in $3.3 million by the end of Sunday. American science fiction action movie Hypnotic was directed by Robert Rodriguez, who also co-wrote the screenplay with Max Borenstein, Ben Affleck, Alice Braga and JD. The most significant action scenes that are a delight to watch are something that director Robert Rodriguez excels at. Fortunately, there are quite a few of them scattered throughout Hypnotic, and the first one won't take long to find. There are plenty of heart-pounding, adrenaline-fueled action scenes, including chases, fights and explosions, all of which are not only enjoyable to watch on television, but also fit into the story effectively. You will be entertained while also attempting to fit things together, so trust me. Ben Affleck, who plays Danny Rourke, isn't the only actor in this film to give it their all. With a performance like that, you'll be rooting for him the entire time. Those of you who have watched the trailer even know that William Fichtner is immediately identified as the antagonist. His character, Dalrain, is so intense that simply by looking at him, viewers will experience shivers. Because of his capacity for sheer wretchedness, he occasionally goes so far as to be absolutely terrifying. He is a fantastic antagonist and one of the movie's strongest elements. This movie is a must-see on the big screen as the story, the performances, and the epic action sequences are amazing. No matter what kind of home entertainment system you have, watching at home just won't be the same. To experience Hypnotic alongside people who would be as amazed and occasionally as perplexed as you are, go to a theatre. With just over 90 minutes, the film moves quickly, so you shouldn't have any trouble staying for the mid-credit sequence. You will think that maybe, just maybe, there will be a Hypnotic 2, because trust me, it is definitely worth it. The majority of the film is quick-paced and creative, capitalising on Rodriguez's frugal filmmaking approach, which involves shooting and editing the movie while casting family members in other important roles. At the very least, the film is ruthlessly effective enough at delivering its audience-pleasing moments that truly starving suspense genre hounds at least won't necessarily mind. The execution, lacklustre dialogue and wooden acting at times add to the feeling that the movie is a B-tier hack job, as do the muted, lo-fi production values. This confusing thriller, which has as many decays as a trepanning drill and is just as likely to leave you feeling lobotomized, can't be saved by a cranky Ben Affleck. Affleck plods through the proceedings with never a glance up and a clenched monotone as he speaks his lines. This is an inconsistent, occasionally enthralling and brilliant psychological thriller that functions like a drive-in movie adaptation of a Christopher Nolan movie. Despite being hailed as a decades-long passion project, Rodriguez's latest is a stylish but sleepy thriller that appears completely detached from any real artistic vision. Instead of his customary sense of humour and rebellious nature, Rodriguez opts for a mind-bending thriller a la Christopher Nolan that is weighed down by an excessively sombre tone and complex plot. What could be more mesmerising than a season that gets stodgier with higher budgets and runtimes? It will serve as a cosy memory of what a summer movie looked like 20 years ago. The truth is that the blasted thing keeps getting tangled up, much like an Isha artwork. This isn't the hypnotic neuro-noir you were hoping for. It is more akin to Inception for novices. The movie is an overly convoluted house of cards that falls apart because of its own hollowness. Not only is Rodriguez's film Hypnotic refreshingly clear, but Ben Affleck is as well. Hypnotic is an absolutely hilarious 90 minutes at the movies that only requires its audience to maintain the suspension of disbelief. It's what Christopher Nolan's Memento might have looked like if it had been redone by an escaped madman. It's enjoyable enough, but ultimately it has the fake vibe of a director playing in a genre that doesn't fit him naturally and not enjoying it. The crime caper from Robert Rodriguez is disappointingly dull and overly structured. The movie, to its credit, is never dull and has a compelling idea that is easy to support, but it desperately needs significant revisions to strike a balance. Affleck is in a delightful situation thanks to this stylish combination of practical cleverness and visual effects, and the slightly older star still possesses the clenched-jawed charisma to pull it off. The story seems to have been written from the moment of the disclosure, yet the first 70 minutes are boring and do little to advance Hypnotic. Despite Rodriguez's dedication to the independent film moment, the screenplay and performances in Hypnotic are too outrageously absurd to be taken seriously. Removing, shredding and stripping covert identities. The payoff is artfully delivered in the deception of a plot, with scenes deftly played out again and over, their reality changed. From beginning to end, Hypnotic is a mind-bending journey. The narrative of Rodriguez collapses under its own weight, despite Affleck's efforts to keep the viewer interested. Making a movie like this in a post-Marvel, post-streaming world is a very interesting feat. The end result is an entertaining film that surprises even M. Night Shyamalan, thanks to its fast-paced plot twists. Robert Rodriguez, an independent action auteur, created the suspenseful science fiction thriller Hypnotic. The Ben Affleck movie is a fun throwback. It's the kind of movie that Bruce Willis or even Affleck might have starred in 20 years ago. Apparently under the impression that having action in film equates to conveying a story or creating a plot, the director Robert Rodriguez includes some pointless gunfights and pursuit scenes. It doesn't manage to be credible, believable, or even able to follow its own logical stutters, but it does manage to attain a certain amount of crazy camp. To put it another way, Hypnotic is hilarious and never dull. No amount of hypnotism will be able to persuade audiences who hold themselves to the highest standards of filmmaking that Hypnotic is a fine film. This drab and brainless science fiction mystery is made worse by Ben Affleck's robotic performance. We welcome comments from viewers in 2023 who are watching Hypnotic. For more unbiased movie reviews, see my Caption Media channel. I'm shooting off. See you shortly. Have a good one.